Hi everyone! Welcome to Chubby Chats.
I'm Pamela.
And I'm Astrid. And today we're going to talk about our health update. Because we were supposed to do that last episode.
Yeah.
Then it didn't happen. I mean, when do we ever do things in order in this podcast?
I wanted to, but then you said whatever.
Well, I was just with this burning urge to talk about
Okay.
the happenings of before. After, technically. But yeah, I mean, this is our health update. So I don't remember at what point. When was it? I think it was nearing August where we stopped seeing our old.
I think so.
For those of you that didn't hear it, the last, we did a whole episode where we basically spoke.
Kind of catched you guys up on.
caught
you guys up on everything that happened in the last 6 months.
No, not that one. I mean, there was a pre-episode where we basically spoke about mental and physical health and our journey through that, where basically we were explaining how we have gone through our journeys of we both have gone through our journeys of caring for ourselves and paying attention to our body, our minds, and caring for both, and basically I think the last health update that we had was when I had my wrist surgery.
Yeah, I think so.
And when we basically spoke how we were seeing this new
not nutritionist. It's something else.
I can't remember what they're called. But we were seeing this new doctor basically that was helping us
for our diet.
Yeah, with our diet. But then around August we stopped going, and it was for various reasons.
Yeah.
But the main reason being that all three of us, which is my mom, me, and my sister, who were
following
going.
That diet.
Yeah. We stopped seeing results, which for a lot of people it tends to be you have to keep going because you're gonna reach a point where you basically get stuck or you basically don't see more. But that basically that had been a cycle. I mean, for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. And obviously Pamela can speak for herself too, and then my mom is not here to speak for herself, so we'll leave her out of this. But for me, my whole life has been being a point where whenever I did these diets, and I've been through so many diets and plans and pills and whatever you want to call it, fastings and so many points where I tried so many things, and then I always reached this point where the same thing. It was you reach this point where you've lost maybe I don't want to give numbers because I feel that's unhealthy, especially for people. Not that I would mind. I do talk about it sometimes with friends and when I'm on lives on TikTok. But I feel in general, when you say numbers, people start expecting that to be their story
and everyone has their different bodies, and so everyone has their journey. Don't compare yourself.
So I prefer not to give numbers, but I'd basically lose the same amount of weight in all of my diets, my journeys in trying this weight loss. Apart from the fact that I feel for a long time, especially growing up, I never did it in a healthy way because it was never really for myself. There's definitely so many points in my life where maybe I noticed that I was bigger than other people or than my friends and stuff, but being young, being 13, 14, 15, whatever, it was never my main concern, and it was more because of parental pressure or family pressure that it was you have to lose weight, and you should lose weight, and you should be a certain weight. And so I fluctuated a lot my weight, especially being, I think maybe from the age of 11 onwards was when my weight really started to fluctuate. It was going up and down, up and down, up and down. And there was points in my life where I felt good. I wasn't necessarily the skinniest person in the world. I wasn't a skinny legend. But I felt okay. I felt good. I was working out. I did basketball and volleyball and badminton back in Finland. I was I feel good. We weren't in Finland. I feel we never necessarily ate. We didn't eat great, but we also didn't eat crap.
It was the healthiest we've eaten anywhere in the
world.
I don't
think I wouldn't call it the healthiest, but no, because we had our
definitely I think the school diet was the healthiest in all the countries.
Yeah, but that's not what we ate all the time, because we still went home sometimes and ate there, and so that's what I was saying. In my perspective, it wasn't it wasn't the healthiest we'd ever eaten, but it was definitely the most active time of I think all of our lives where we were very active. And
but that's just like within the culture. It wasn't something that we were like doing
yeah, no,
ourselves.
like it was you just had to like walking, taking transportation, and then like apart from the fact that we did after school activities.
Yeah.
And yeah, like for me it was like I wasn't eating crap, but it was like when I think I started like taking my own choices of food, and it wasn't what like my mom cooked me or whatever. It was when I started making my own like food choices, and then I like started picking up like better eating habits. But like obviously having my times where like, you know, I wasn't eating the healthiest, but like in terms of like activeness and the way I was feeling, like I was feeling good. But it was always that pressure of like, yeah, you've got to keep a certain weight, you've got to look a certain way or whatever. And like, I don't know where it comes from, like society, whatever you want to call it. But like, to me, I feel like that was very toxic for me in this journey of trying to lose weight, or like trying to like be in a body that I felt like okay and comfortable with. But like for me, that just wasn't like, it wasn't the like good at all. It was very toxic and whatever. So also coming back to Mexico, like I started another health journey here. Like here, being alone in Mexico, I think it's almost gonna be 4 years that since we came back. I've seen several nutritionists and several dietitians and whatever you want to call them.
More than that, because it's going to be 3 for me here.
Just 4. It wasn't that much. It hasn't been more than 4.
For you guys?
Yeah, it hasn't. And yeah, like, for me, like, I've seen several people since coming back. Also, I feel like the first year, I did, like, I was feeling better because I was seeing results with like, you know, losing weight. But then I got to the same point when it was like, okay, we're stuck again. We can't see any more results. Now what? You know, and then I feel like what was also toxic is that some doctors and some people tend to like be like, you know, start losing weight, and then like
everything else.
When you lose weight, you can start buying like clothes that like stick a little more to your body or whatever, or that like fit on your body in a certain way. Like, but it's like a sort of like it's a reward that you can buy yourself those clothes once you've hit a certain point in your weight. And I feel like
subliminally
that was like the first like thing that like I had basically like engraved or marked when we came back here in Mexico. And I was 17, 18 years old, like already, like I wasn't like that young, but yeah, it was like a point where I was like, crap, you know, I still hadn't worked on my mental health. And so that was it. Like the second year is when I sort of said, you know what, in order to be able to work on my physical health, I feel like first of all, I have to be okay mentally. And so I was really insistent to my mom. I'm like, yes, like I do want to get to a point where I can work on myself physically and on my physical health. But in order to do that, I need to know, understand myself first mentally, and what exactly is the point that I want to reach, because I am not doing this like all these years back. I wasn't doing this for myself. I was doing it because of the social pressure, because of you, because of, you know, and not to blame my parents or anything, because I understand they want us to be in a healthy way and whatever, but like, yeah, for me it was like
I also think like sorry, no, I just think like parents, like old people in general, like the Gen Z generation?
Weird Gen Z, dude.
Oh, whatever they are, the Gen X generation, whatever. Like they have such a weird like definition of health. like I was just talking about it with one of my friends. Like, I don't know, like it's like for us, like health is so much different than theirs. Whether that's like physical health, like for them health looks one way, like in terms of a body, and then also like mentally health means one thing, and like for them weakness is like emotion and expression, and going to therapy is like a weakness, and like for us that's like healthy. So like, I don't know, I think that's one of the things that growing up we hadn't really established yet, like the whole like let's actually talk about our health and like normalize being like not okay wasn't like a thing growing up. And like, yeah, like because the biggest pressure we had, like driving pressure for our health, was our parents and their definition. It definitely like was, I don't know, it was like, it's also like something that I think a lot of people have to note, like literally there's so many different definitions of what healthy is, and
you have to define your own, I think.
Yeah, and with yourself, like, and with your doctors, and you have to make sure that your doctors are actually trying to see the best things for you, and not just because
They want money.
Yeah, because that's...
Which is what we spoke about, like, on
yeah.
the last episode, that, like, we were saying that, unfortunately, the case in most occasions for people, like, trying to get to, like, a point where they want to be healthy with themselves and with their body, is the fact that, like, something that can impede that a lot, and it was the case for us a lot, was, like, finding a doctor that actually cared.
Yeah.
Or finding not even, like, just a specialist in general that, like, you were seeking help to, that actually cared, and that wasn't just looking to, like, get money off you, and that actually took the time to know you, know and your story.
Listen to your concerns, too, because I feel like we have, like, both of us had, like, our different journeys on things we knew we needed help with, but no matter how many people we went to, like, they were like, it's all in your head.
And I feel like it's a lot with, like, people that are bigger, and which is something that I also mentioned in the last episode. Like, when you're bigger, whenever you, like, I hated going to the doctor because it was like, you went and immediately, like, the first thing they saw was your weight and that you were bigger, and so whatever you told them, the cause had to do something. Had something to do with your weight.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it was, it had something to do with your weight. And so, like, that's...
They didn't even take the time to analyze other things.
And like, that was the case for so many things and so many occasions, like, going to the doctor growing up. And that's why I hated that, because I feel like, what was the point of me going if I know what I'm going to get told? And in the end, it just makes you feel crap, because, I mean, yes, I've been on diets and pills and whatever, like, trying to lose weight, like, my whole life. And so for you telling me that I'm not, you know, not at your desired weight, at, like, your desired state, then it really isn't helping. And then they tell you the same thing, or they give you something else, or, like, honestly, like,
it's just so damaging and, like, hurtful.
Out of all the doctors that we've seen, I think 90% of them didn't bother to look past just, like, the surface, or, like, a couple of blood tests. And it wasn't honestly until, like, well, recently, now that we get to the point, so that it doesn't get too long, but, like, until very recently that we went to see this doctor that was recommended to us. A new doctor, yeah, he's what did we establish it was?
Endocrinologist.
We went to see him, that, like, he honestly...
Well, Astrid went first, because she needed it for something, I don't remember what.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to see the new nutrologist, and what was it? Well, I think in general, we just wanted to, like, start seeking another doctor, and the fact that, like, I mean, we went to see the endocrinologist, and then he, you know, he listened to my story, but not only that, like, before going, he was like, please do, like, a full blood test, full work, like, full of, like, you, basically. So we did that. So then we came in, he had, like, not only the numbers, but before he started reading the numbers, he asked, like, you know, what's your story, what's the deal with you? And something I noted a lot was the fact that, like, he made sure he was listening to me, and my mom came with me, and I appreciate the support and everything, but sometimes, like, obviously my mom doesn't know, like, what I have gone through, like, my feelings, my thoughts, my reception of my diets or whatever. Like, she has lived it with me, but not, like, through me, or she hasn't lived my experience. So, like, the fact that, like, he was very attentive to, like, listening to me, what I have to say, and what, like, my experience was something that I noted, like, as soon as I got there, and I was like, that's something that, honestly, like, barely any doctors care to do, which is listen to their patients, and their patients only, which is unfortunate.
What
it
should be, instead of the person that's paying, which, you know, it's a whole other conversation I had with my therapist, too.
But yeah, like, I explained to him, like, basically that it's just been the same thing for years, like, me, you know, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, and then, like, losing weight, and then getting to a point where I couldn't lose any more weight, and then, like, he started asking about my previous surgeries, and me telling him that, like, I had just really recently had, like, the wrist surgery from a cyst, and then also having cysts on my ovaries, and having that surgery just...
The same year, no?
No, like, a couple, I think the year before or 2 years before that. But, yeah, like, I think that, like, he was taking notes, and I could see him taking notes as I was explaining to him and everything. And then as soon as I was done talking, he was like, okay, I'm going to take a second now to, like, look at the numbers. Also noting things down. He was like, okay, so here's what I think you have. Like, here's what my thing. And then he didn't start off by telling me, like, his diagnosis. He started off by telling me the different types of diagnosis he has and why I didn't fit all the other ones in detail. He like grabbed a piece of paper and was drawing like diagrams and whatever. He was like, this is why you don't fit all of these, and then this is why you fit, or I think you fit this one. And explaining to me in detail like why it is out of like all these that I don't fit in, but why this one like I fit in. So he like, you know, he was like, I think you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, because like you fit a lot of the profile. And yeah, like he was like, and then after he told me like this is what my diagnosis is, like he was like, how do you feel about this, you know, which is something that I feel like, wow, you know, a lot of doctors just tell you this is what you have, start taking this, bye,
Yeah.
don't bother me anymore. But he's like, how do you feel about this? And then I was like, wow. Honestly, I was very overwhelmed because I was like, you know, yes, I'd heard about polycystic ovarian syndrome before. No one had ever cared to explain to me what it was. No one had ever before this doctor ever mentioned the fact that I might possibly have PCOS. And so I was like, wow, yeah, like it sounds like whatever you're describing to me, the symptoms or whatever like PCOS has, the profile, like that's basically what I've been going through. Like that, it's exactly, it's fitting to what I've been living. And so I was like, yes, like I think like, you know, I feel like you're right. And so he was like, okay, so we'll start working with this. You know, he was like, let's start with treatment for it. And as soon as we started treatment for it, which was, we started treatment maybe, when was it?
End of August for sure. Because
I was gonna say,
we've been like 3 months-ish, about
like 4 months, no? It's been like three and a little bit months.
Well, yeah.
3.5 months. But yeah, as soon as I started treatment, I started seeing results, and which to me, that was already like telling, but also the fact that like it's the most results I've seen ever in any diagnosis, in any treatment, in anything you ever went in. So he was like pairing in, he was like, along with like the treatment that I'm going to give you, start seeing a nutrologist from your choosing, because you're like, well, we were seeing these types of dietitians or these blah blah. He's like, you know what, a regular nutrologist will do. So start seeing a nutrologist. You pick it, whatever you want, and then you pair it with the treatment, and then start seeing like results, you know. And so that was it. Literally, like I started taking the treatments he was giving me, started like, you know, the diet, and then exercise on the side, and that's it. Like I started seeing results. I've been seeing the most results I've ever seen in any treatment I've ever gotten, you know, which is obviously super like motivational. And the fact that like it was hard at the beginning because I genuinely felt like he told us, that's something else, like he told us that we didn't have to see him like every week basically, which most doctors was like, you can't have to come back every week. But he was like, I'll see you like once a month for now, and then it'll be like once every 3 months, and then it'll be like we'll basically stop seeing each other because you'll have control of like your body and your health and whatever. And so at first like we were seeing each other once a month, and yeah, like he was like, I want you to promise me that you're not gonna look like at your weight, or you're not gonna step on a scale until you're with me or you're a nutrologist, because that can be very damaging, you know. And like that's something that in general I avoided doing in life, you know. But he was like, yeah, don't, like, just do it with me or with your nutrologist. I like get home, hide your scales, I don't want you doing that. And then he was like, and so we'll see from there, you know. And yeah, like I remember like the first time that I went, I was like, I feel like, yeah, like maybe I'll lose some weight, but like I don't know, it feels like such a short time, like things never work. So I was very doubtful of myself. But like going there and seeing like already like a huge amount of progress, I was like, wow, like this is working. And then going the second time and still seeing more progress, the third time even more progress, it was like, wow, like this is working. Like for once in my life, this is working. I am doing this for myself. You know, I like after a lot of conversation with like my mom and my dad, like they have learned the ways to help me through this journey as well, which has truly like changed a lot of the way that we've been going through this like health process. But yeah, like it's been super motivational to be able to like see results and keep seeing results and being like keep working for myself. Like now I'm at a point where I have to see my endocrinologist just once every 3 months, but we're still seeing results. Like I have such full trust in my doctor, and I genuinely feel like the care he has for us whenever we go, and the fact that like he remembers, like apart from all the patients he sees, he like remembers the numbers, like the case is. Like, there's doctors that you go and they don't even remember your name.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm
They don't
sorry.
even
What
know
was
who
your
you-
issue?
Yeah, and so this doctor, he comes, he's like, how have you been, you know,
Yeah.
like by your name and stuff. And he remembers like his patients, and that's something that to me is super telling. Like, he's a young doctor, and the fact that like he has so much care for his patients, I hope like it never goes away for him. But like,
that's the kind of, I think, like when you like your profession and you actually like care about the person instead of a number and the money, it's like you're gonna thrive. Like whatever you're doing, like I think as long as you focus on the other person, like whatever it is you're doing, like focusing on another person, it's just so good.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess like the doctors might not know it, and maybe it is their jobs, but like to me, it's like he's honestly been such a blessing, because like he has honestly changed like my life, my health journey, the way that I've been like caring for myself, treating myself, and just living in general. Like, he's really changed that and shaped that. So like, to me, just literally the single fact that he was able to give me a diagnosis that like until now like seems correct, seems fully like right, that he's been giving me treatment for, and that like I've been able to carry it on and keep seeing results, which is something like that that's the only thing I wanted, you know, to see results for myself, for my body, feeling much better, you know, honestly, like just feeling it in general throughout my like whole body, like actually like starting to dress without the pressure of like it's a reward for you to get this new thing, like just finding like it has helped me even to find my style in dressing, in like I've been feeling so good about myself. And I joke to Pamela, but like she knows I'm joking, but like we've been going to her and like, don't I look so cute today and stuff, and like it's stuff that I wouldn't have said a year ago or half a year ago, but like that, like I dress and I genuinely feel good, and I'm like, wow, like I'm proud of you, because literally not that long ago you were feeling crap about yourself every single day. You were wearing just incredibly baggy hoodies and stuff, like not even bothering to find your style because you didn't feel good. And so like now being able to like every day like that I go out like wanting to dress and like feeling good about what I'm wearing is just such an incredible feeling. And so I mean, for me, like I'm at a point where like yes, my focus is a lot on my physical health right now. Like I feel like I went through my path of focusing on my mental health, which was also like really good for me, and I'm really glad I was able to do that and take that step before I started focusing on my physical health, because otherwise I feel like again I would have lost control. And so being able to have control of my mental health and now really being able to focus on my physical health is something that like it's you know really important for me, and like which I've spoken to a lot of people, and I'm like the fact that like I'm able to like maybe not feel guilty about the fact that like my focus isn't on someone else or on something else, and then I'm fully able to focus on me, because I know right now I have that control and I really don't want to lose it, is great, you know, being able to focus on myself. And then I know eventually it'll take time, and I don't expect it to be in a year or 2 or 3. You know, I don't want to put myself in a time frame or a time like stamp or whatever. It's just it'll be all in due course, and just you know keep that motivation going and that part of you going, which is super great for me. But like yeah, I don't know what your perspective of life has been in your health update.
No, well, I was just thinking, like, I was just trying to remember, like, I, like, a lot of the things that I think, like, you mentioned, like, happened to me, but in terms of, like, physical health, it went from, like, Astrid really is, like, thriving and going through, like, a physical transformation, and for me, it's, like, mental, and, like, yeah, like, last time we saw each other, I think I was, like, at a good place. I was happy. Well, I hate the word happy, because I feel like happy is so conditional. It's, like, no, yeah, I was happy, because I think, no, because I was thinking right now, I wasn't joy-filled, which is something that I'm learning right now. Like, joy is, like, the perseverance of happiness, regardless of your circumstances, and I definitely wasn't that. I think I was happy, like, I was just conditionally happy with, like, the things that were around me, and, then life got hard, and, like, I went through, like, I made a whole video on my channel about, like, how like, I lived all of that experience, but in a nutshell, like, there's always been, like, again, parents have the best intentions for their kids always, but sometimes the way that they try to make their will happen in their kids' life is horrible, and they don't see it until like way later. And one of the things for me was like my dad is like super insistent on me and Astrid getting not just a job, but like a job that fits his requirements of success. And my dad is a very office type of guy, and his success quota kind of has to follow a lifestyle sort of that way. And for me, I've known my whole life, like since I can remember, I hate the idea of being stuck in a 9 to 5 in a cubicle somewhere. That just like, I don't know, I remember watching like animations as a kid, like dystopian animations of like people going to work like that and just basically losing all of their individuality and their uniqueness, and thinking like, I don't want that ever to happen to me. Like I think like even back then I understood the preciousness of uniqueness, and I still had to like figure out what made me unique, but I realized like I definitely don't want that. So like I think that was a good thing. But the influence of my parents in my life has always been like really strong. And like when it comes to that, like I just in general I want to please them in what I do and who I am, and that has led into a lot of damage emotionally for me that is not their fault completely. It's also mine because I allowed it, but it is their fault in the terms of like they definitely put that pressure on me growing up, and that was the chip that I grew up with. And it took a lot of work over the last couple of years to realize that that's a really bonkers chip to have, like that my automatic response is just to please my parents instead of pleasing myself, and I have to work against it constantly. And I was progressing on that slowly, but I kind of got stuck at like around I was just doing life for doing it. And then I still felt that pressure from my dad specifically to like get a job, and everyone around us also like it's something that I realized just quite recently, also like wants to put their own aspirations on your life, and they do it again with good intentions, but they're not you and they don't know you. And like this job opportunity presented itself, and it wasn't something I wanted to be like like from the get-go. It wasn't something like I wanted but it was like, okay, whatever, it's there. Second, I knew it was in a field that I didn't like and I didn't enjoy, and it required for me to do some things that I find uncomfortable. And third, like the actual job itself was really high pressure, and really it required like a lot of me. And even though they presented like when you do an interview, like they present it so nicely, whatever, like I think you like as you mature and you go through life, you kind of start to detect there's some phrases that if they say are big red flags. And that came afterwards when I was talking to my therapist, because in essence I had like a week worth of work experience with that company, and it was horrible. Like I honestly hated it so much. Like if you ask me like right now what's the worst moment of your life, I'm probably going to say that week in particular, because I began each day absolutely hating myself, because why would I do that to myself? Like why would I choose a job that I'm not enjoying? Second, it was something that was driving me insane, because I was super anxious to do the right thing, because the job required excellence because of the kind of content we handled. And like third, like it had me so anxious that I wasn't doing anything else. Like my whole mind was on that. And like I just honestly spent that week absolutely hating myself and like hating who I had become, because I was like, oh my gosh, wasn't that something we weren't gonna do? Like wasn't like what we learned in the last year, like don't do things to please others. And I was just like, oh frick frack fuck, like I hated. And like I ended up not staying in the job. And I thought like a week after it, like I thought, oh, you know, like it's alright, like I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be fine. But then like I don't know, like I was at the same time talking to my parents and Astrid, and they were just saying like you just have to like do life, you just have to like basically deal with it, you know. And like I get that approach, but at the same time it just sucks to tell that to someone who has anxiety like an anxiety disorder, and also like also that has depression. Well, depression as a consequence of the bipolar disorder that I have. And at that point, I remember just feeling like, okay, well, I just came from a week of absolutely hating myself, and now everybody's telling me like, well, you just gotta deal with it, and like that's how life goes. And I just started feeling like, okay, well, if I just gotta deal with it, and that's how life goes in general, like everybody just absolutely hates what they're doing, and like jobs suck in general, then why am I here? And I started to have like really dark, horrible thoughts. But I was like battling them for a while because my anxiety was higher than my depressive thoughts. For like, I don't know, 2 weeks. Like I was just battling my anxiety because I started feeling really anxious about the future and about just not going at the pace that my parents wanted me to be going at, and comparing myself to my other friends my age who have had a different journey than mine and are further along in life, further along, whatever that definition for you. And I just started feeling really like anxious, and because that anxiety kind of built up for over 2 weeks, I wasn't getting any better. Like for like the 2 weeks after all that anxiety, I started having really dark thoughts, like really, really dark thoughts. And I told my therapist, and he got really concerned for me, and he was like, do we need to put you in rehab? And I was like, I don't think so right now, because like right now I'm more like anxious than depressed, but if like that switches, then yeah, because I think my mind is going to like, what is the point of being here? Like, you know, if everybody just hates everything and everybody's just kind of dealing with life and, you know, whatever, like, then why am I here, you know? And it was like super dark thoughts, because I remember just telling God, like, what is the point? Like, why am I here? Like, if everybody's just like super like sad with their life, like, why am I here? And I remember right after leaving therapy that day, I told my mom, because the doctor was like, okay, don't make me the only person that knows this, because like it's dangerous. Like I only see my doctor once every 2 weeks, and he was like, don't like tell someone else. And I told my mom, I was like, I'm like on the verge of like doing something really stupid, so I need you to like be with me. And she like really stayed with me that week, and it was actually really great being with her and just being able to cry and just feel my emotions. And I mean, it didn't make me feel better per se, because like I still felt really shitty, and I hated everything and I hated everyone, and it was just a really dark moment. But then like in that week, I started really spending a lot of time with God and His Word, and just reading a lot of like Bible stories and passages, and just clinging on to those characters. And like I started rereading Job, and I don't know why, but now like absolutely love Job. And if you guys have never read the book Job's book in the Bible, it's like the most depressing story ever. But in that moment, I just felt so like close to Job, and as a result, like close to God through Job. And the ending of the book is like super brief but super hopeful, and I was like, okay, so like I'm gonna be okay. No matter what happens, I'm gonna be okay, and I just have to start saying that to myself. And for the last 3 weeks per se, I've been like working on building up my hope and my confidence again, because that whole experience was super hurtful and draining for me. But one of the things that I absolutely learned was like I really need to change that chip inside of me of like not listening to others, like just stop caring about others, which is something that I really want to learn from Astrid, because I think like that's something she does really well, and I'm really bad at that. Like I really care about others' opinions, and it's hurt me so much in life, but specifically in that moment in my life, I don't know, I feel like if I didn't know God, like I don't know what would have happened. But yeah, like I'm at a moment right now where I'm like, okay, I need to work on building my confidence and being happy again, which is hard. Like every day I wake up now and I spend like a whole hour, first half hour with God, and just asking Him to like not be sad. And then the second part of the hour is just repeating affirmations of happiness to myself, because right now I feel super sad all the time and I just want to be happy. And I don't want to cry right now because this is not meant to be like a sad vlog. But yeah, like, it's just being really hard, but like, I am sharing it, and I think like God gave me the strength to do that, because like a year ago, if I was going through this, I wouldn't have been able to share. But yeah, like, I am so confident that like I'm gonna be better and I'm gonna be okay. And it's really hard because it's not like like I'm feeling good right now, but it's, I'm gonna feel better and I'm gonna be better. But it's like it's life, and it's a stepping stone into the direction I want to go into. And as bonkers as it sounds, like, I'm really thankful that I'm going through this right now with my family, because yeah, if I was alone, I definitely couldn't do it. And yeah, I'm just really working on myself, and that's where I am right now in my journey, like really trying to not think about others and think about myself. And it may sound super selfish, but honestly, I don't care at this point. I just want to be happy, and that's what I've been working on, like really intentionally being happy every day. And it's been a battle, guys. It's been horrible, but yeah, I'm really praying that, I mean, as Astrid said, I'm not putting like a time frame on anything, because I was telling my doctor, like, the best Christmas present I could have is just to wake up happy and not work at being happy. But yeah, like, if that doesn't happen, that's totally fine. But yeah, like, that's like my goal right now, just to be joyful and to be content. And yeah, it's just hard, you know. It's hard every day, but that's bipolar disorder for you guys. That's depression. Like, sometimes it just like really gets you, and I'm like praying every day to like be happy. And yeah, it's just been hard, but that's yeah, I don't want it to sound like super sad, because I am sad, but like it's just like as like an emotion. Like, in general, like my heart is uplifted, and like I'm really like dependent on God, and I'm like really dependent on like His promises, and I believe them 100%, and that's why I'm still here, you know. And yeah, I'm just holding on to all of that goodness.